Whether you're an elephant, a tree, or an E. coli bacterium, you are a carbon-based life form. But why carbon? To find out, we have to look at the periodic table. See, carbon is in a sweet spot on the periodic table. The table is arranged such that every successive element has one more proton than the last. This means that it has a greater pull on the electrons in its outer shell. Carbon sits here in the middle of the table, meaning its pull on the outer electrons is neither too strong nor too weak. Due to quantum mechanics, some atomic structures are more stable than others, like those of the noble gases. This is because they have a full outer shell of electrons, which for the sake of this video, we can take to be 2 electrons for anything smaller than helium, or 8 electrons for anything bigger. And this again puts carbon in the sweet spot. Having 4 valence electrons, carbon can form 4 bonds. Notice that if I'm boron, I only have 3 electrons to bond with, and if I'm nitrogen, then I only have room for 3 more electrons since I already have 5 out of 8. And so again, carbon wins on the amount of bonds it can reliably form. And finally, the rows of the periodic table tell you how many electron shells an atom has. The more electron shells an atom has, the bigger the atom and the weaker the bonds it can form, since the valence electrons are so far away from the nucleus. For example, if we were to look at silicon instead, which is in the same group as carbon and can form just as many bonds, we would realize that silicon forms weaker bonds since it has one more layer of shielding. And we can see that here. On the left we have hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and silicon, and on the right the nearest noble gas and therefore stable electron configuration. We see that hydrogen and oxygen can only form 1 and 2 bonds, and we see that even though carbon and silicon can form 4 bonds each, silicon has one more electron shell, making its bonds weaker. And so to recap, carbon not only forms reliably the most amount of bonds, it also forms stable bonds. And this is what allows carbon to make all of the complex molecules like rings, growing chains, branches, and 3D structures. And this in turn is what allows carbon to form the basis of every biomolecule we know of, including DNA, proteins, and the very lipid bilayers that contain our cells. If you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and follow. As usual, everybody, peace and take care.